Good afternoon and welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Danny Vittori, and today we have on a newer organization, Kayak And Sail Lynn. Thanks for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having us, Danny.
So would you mind just introducing yourselves real quick?
Sure. Frank Grealish, I'm the director of Kayak And Sail Lynn and a teacher over at Lynn English High School.
Great.
Jaleel Khamis and a student at Lynn English.
Awesome. So this organization's been around for about 2 years now or so. What was the initial reasoning for starting it?
Well, initially, myself and a couple of former students wanted to get more Lynners on the water, with the thought being not enough connect to it. Mm-hmm. And basically, I just did kind of like informal surveys, if you will, over at English High School. And I'm sure I speak for the other high schools throughout the city. Just our kids don't access the water, considering we're surrounded by it, as enough as we thought they could be able to. So we focused on 3 core groups: students, veterans, those with disabilities that would require an adaptive kayak. And the goal was, from the get-go, not to charge any of those 3 groups. So that on the weekends we would have, for folks that had the ability to pay, they would pay, and they would fuel the other programs so that those other groups could access the water free of charge at any time.
Right. And then, Jaleel, how did you become involved initially?
I initially got involved by Mr. Grealish over here. I was in his English class. That's pretty much how I got involved. I'm like, opportunity to build a boat, that sounds pretty cool.
So you just mentioned boat building, so it's a combination of going out in the water and kayaking, but then you also have a whole separate thing of boat building. How does that work?
Go ahead, how's it work? Oh, what did you do as boat building?
Well, basically we came in from, was it 9 to 4?
Yep.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
We came into 9 to 4, got in, started building the boat. First we started with like the back of the boat, the transom. Then we like built it up from like this jig, which is like the frame, where we put on each panel, and then we like screw them all together. And then by the end, we had like pretty much almost finished boat the first time. And then the second time we started with a half complete boat, and then now we got fully built as well.
So it's a fully working rowboat. You can go out in the water with it.
Exactly. And you know, it's funny, I'm glad Jaleel jumped to it. So we're primarily in the kayak business, but just some things came together. Ted Diller down at the Brickyard Collaborative for years had been wanting to do this. So we reached out to Community Boat Building, and they've been doing it for 20 years.
Wow. So
they brought boat building to the Brickyard Collaborative, and Kayak and Sail Lynn brought students to it with that connection. So kayaking still our core, but kind of through happenstance and honestly good fortune, the kids get to build the boat either from get-go or, like Jaleel said, just as good an opportunity, a boat that kind of went south, they got to rehabilitate. And that boat they've brought to fruition, and we'll launch Wednesday, June 12th. And the rowboat, so the kayaks are for students to use. The rowboats are for veterans.
Okay.
So Jaleel and his classmates will present the boat to General Andrea Gale Bennett to accept on behalf of Lynn veterans, but it's all the students doing everything. It's the students building the boats, honoring the veterans, and doing the whole program.
Which is a great piece of it. I didn't realize that, I knew the student piece, but I didn't realize that the veterans and people with disabilities were another group.
Sure.
And kayaking is your core, so
Yep.
How does that schedule work? How would people sign up if they're interested?
Do you want to handle that?
I think you can handle that.
Okay. Well, and then I'll have you say what you do on the water when you go kayaking. So basically, if folks were to go to kayakandsaillynn.org, we have a sign-up button there. Basically, the thing we love about kayaks, it's not like there's an engine to maintain, a sail to repair. We want them in use. So honestly, we were very lucky / blessed through the City of Lynn and American Recovery dollars. We were able to get just about all the equipment we need. So we want to utilize it. We want to use it. And same thing, the Brickyard was phenomenally helpful in providing us a container to store the kayaks in and to utilize them. So if folks go on, whenever there's demand, we'll meet them there, we'll get them out on the water. And I will say, if you ever have a chance, so we utilize the landing down at Blossom Street Extension, which is right next to the ferry. If you have a chance to see the container, some folks at Raw Arts, a collaboration of various folks at Raw Arts have painted a whale on both sides of it. So the container is actually kind of pretty, kind of nice to look at.
And then once you get out on the water, how's it work?
We usually go like a preset route.
Okay.
Usually. sometimes it varies depending how far some people want to go. Some people might want not to go that far, so we can bring them back. Usually it varies, and usually we go when it's fairly calm, so no one like capsizes.
Yes, that is always the goal. Bring them back. And I didn't realize until you turn 18 you can't be like a certified instructor, but you're still learning quite a bit about how to guide people in the way that kayaks work. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. So last season, and it was actually this time of year a little earlier, the water was still in the 50s. And so Jaleel and his class, I'll call them classmates, did an 8-hour day of training, the full 8 hours.
Wow.
And they were troopers. So yeah, we'll wait for the day. We're really hoping, Danny, that obviously, Jaleel and his classmates have at least 1 or 2 more years with us, that they'll be mentors for kids coming in both kayaking and rowboat mentors and building the rowboats, and that they'll come back with us through college and keep working with us and working with the kids in Lynn.
Because I was curious, what is the age range for students? Is it high school and up, or?
Yeah, it's pretty much high school and up.
Yeah.
We did some like middle schoolers.
Yeah. So honestly, and again, it's because the kids and I kind of see each other at school and whatnot. It's tended to be high school kids, but when we announce things in the public, we tend to get a lot of middle schoolers, which is great. And on the weekends, we get full spectrum. We've had some veterans come out and join us, former students of mine. Councilwoman Nicole McLean has come out with her family. She's a veteran, of course. And that's who we want out with us. We want all Lynners out with us. That if you're looking for an opportunity to get out on the water, we want to present it, especially to students and veterans, but to all Lynners, to know that if they come down to Lynn Harbor, and we're trying to utilize Saugus River a little more, we're going to get a boat that can bring the kayaks over.
Great.
Last year we did rainbows on the rivers for the activities here in June, and thankfully, we had Jaleel and his brother Ali and a couple of the other guides. A clear majority of our folks, it's their first time ever being in a kayak. And these kids are great in kind of being great mentors, setting great example, and getting folks out in the water, making them feel comfortable. And like Jaleel alluded to, and he's 100% correct, like we were going to go out Saturday, it looks like the winds are going to be like 13, 14 knots. That means over 10 knots, there's whitecaps. When in doubt, we don't go out. So we're extremely sensitive to the weather. But every opportunity we have, like there's regulars, like when I say who wants to go out, I know he's going to raise his hand in the best of ways. And he's a great Pied Piper at school and other places to bring other folks in.
And you mentioned you go out on Saturdays, so what time do you usually launch? Kind of what are the hours? How long are the rides?
It's usually like an hour or so. Not too long, not too long. It usually starts like, I would say like 12.
Yeah, we kind of take the temperature, see who wants to go out when. So Jaleel might take some newcomers out. So to go in at the boat ramp where the ferry is, go down by the yacht clubs, go over on the back side of the hunt. And that's kind of a nice little hour-long tour. And then if he's with like his brother Ali and Cole and Jaden and some of the others who are regulars, Tony and Alex, they might paddle down to Point of Pines, bring the kayaks up on the beach, take a little swim, make more of a two-plus hour thing out of it. So it depends on who's with us. And these guys are great at kind of taking the pulse of that and doing the right tour.
Really varies based on skill level who's around, right? And will ask before I have to wrap it up, do you have some like favorite memory or favorite thing that you've really learned, either helping run the program or being involved in it?
Probably say my favorite memory is when we kayaked down and we got to the beach. There's like a bunch of horseshoe crabs around over there, like even baby horseshoe crabs and everything. So I would say that's my favorite moment.
That's really cool.
That was excellent. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and it's funny, and this is kind of a surprise because I was really focused on kayak paddleboarding, which we are, like I say, but the boat building and the connection to veterans, and to have the kids build the boat, the pride in that, and the workmanship, and all the things they learn down at the brickyard, measuring, math, all that stuff, but showing up on time, putting your tools away. And when they present to the veterans, that's really cool. So it was a former student of mine, a Marine, that accepted the boat. And when these guys do that, it really clicks, and they really serve, and they carry the boat down for the veterans, let them get in the water. And I think, Jaleel, you'll sense it a lot because they're attuned to this. When General Bennett receives the boat, that's special.
Yeah, that is. That would be an incredibly special moment for you, the veterans, everyone involved.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And I will have to wrap up in a moment, but is there anything else that I hadn't mentioned that either of you wanted to say about the program?
I think I'm pretty good. I don't know about you.
Jaleel's so well spoken in class and otherwise. Yeah, just if you want to be around nice folks on the water, if you've been looking for an opportunity to get out on the water, be it Lynn Harbor or the Saugus River. And I'll say quickly, when the rainbows on the river last year, it worked out so well. We just, and again, just things clicked, because as they sometimes do. And as we're rounding the first bend, the eagle that's up there flies right over. And we've just had wonderful connections. And like I say, those kayaks are there. We don't want them sitting in the container. We want them out being utilized. And these folks, Jaleel and his classmates, love getting people out and love helping them and working with them. And so the more Lynners, the more students, the more veterans. And we're really, this year too, I'll just say briefly, we really want to increase our abilities and through financing and different grant sources to get folks with disabilities. That's a strong goal of ours. And as you can imagine, that's honestly, frankly, it requires more funds. It's for those adaptive aspects to make the kayaks and whatnot more accessible to folks who need those adaptive equipment. But we're going to get there. We'll get there soon too.
And you've convinced me to want to try and check it out.
Come on, please.
So thanks again for coming on and really telling the community about this.
Thanks for having us.
Of course, anytime. And once again, I'm Danny Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown, and we'll see you next week with more guests.